The word drag is slang for a street or a road. So when you think of drag racing, you may think of people racing their cars illegally down streets at night, because this is where drag racing got its name. But there are thousands of people that could tell you that it is much more than that. It is a popular sport, one that can be very dangerous, but can also be a ton of fun for the drivers and the fans. Drag racing began in the late 1920s when people would race on lakes that had dried up in the California desert. They did this because the sand was smooth and gave them a lot of room for speed. It got even more popular after World War II when kids started putting together engines and car bodies that were designed to go fast. Now it involves all kinds of people and all kinds of cars. And when some of these cars can get up to 200 miles per hour in 6 seconds, it's some pretty exciting stuff.
Indestructible.
Who says grown-ups should have all the fun? Now, thanks to the National Hot Rod Association, or NHRA for short, kids from 8 to 17 years of age can be race car drivers too. Now I'll bet you're thinking to yourself,
yeah, right, you can barely get a driver's license at that age.
It's true though, because in July of 1992, the NHRA began what is known as the Junior Dragster League, and it's one of the fastest growing things around. Now, this isn't just some club that came out of nowhere. It took 5 years of hard work and a lot of dedicated people to make it come together. When Junior Dragsters first began, it had about 4,000 members. Now there are almost 5,000 people in this cool group. They even have their own magazine. And there are Junior Dragsters across the country. Actually, they're even in other countries. Just last year, there were races held in Puerto Rico. It'd be pretty nice to go to another country to race, wouldn't it? Junior Dragsters look a lot like regular dragsters, except they're half the size, and they run a 1/8 mile race instead of a 1/4 mile. The best part is you don't even have to be the fastest car to win. A lot of drag racing depends on your reaction time at the starting line. I'll explain more about that later. And Junior Dragsters can also win awards for the Best Appearing Car, Best Appearing Crew, Best Engineered Car, and Outstanding Team Spirit.
Team spirit? How can a team drive a car?
Well, only one person can drive, but the best thing about Junior Dragsters is that it gets the whole family involved in the race. Drag racing is not a sport you can just do by yourself. It takes some hard-working people to keep the car running well and looking good, and it's always nice to have someone to drive around to races with. Even grown-ups that race all the time bring their family and friends with them. That's how a lot of Junior Dragsters get their start, their mom or dad races.
Today we're here at Maple Grove Raceway with young Bobby Spees, one of our up-and-coming stars here at Maple Grove Raceway in our Junior Drag Racing League. It looks like a brand new car. It's not quite painted yet. Is this your first season racing?
No, it's my second season, but my dad didn't have time to paint it, and we were just worried about points, trying to get in the Indy race.
Okay, so you race here every week, don't you?
Yeah.
Well, how you doing so far?
Pretty good. Last week I lost first round. Well, because the brake wouldn't stick. It was the first time for the car out, and we had to have the idling all the way down, so we had to leave off of idle.
It sounds like you know an awful lot about your car. Did you help build it and put it together?
Sort of. I actually just stood there and watched.
But it seems like you learned an awful lot. When something goes wrong, you seem to know what to do to fix it, except you're inside the car. So who's your crew chief and fixes all these things?
My dad.
Your dad. And your dad's name?
Bob Spees.
So you're a second-generation racer here?
Yeah.
You also need people to help you at the starting line, to remember all the extra stuff you need to bring to races, to to cheer for you while you're heading to the finish line and to help you celebrate if you win. But even if you don't always win, which of course no one ever does, a day at the track is always something you'll remember. So now you're probably thinking to yourself,
Hey, this all sounds pretty cool, but I don't know that much about cars. How on earth can I race one myself?
I'm not going to lie and tell you how easy drag racing is. It takes a lot of work and learning, just like any sport. It can also be dangerous. But the Junior Drag Racing League has done a lot to make sure that all the drivers have fun and stay safe.
Kristen Martin, Junior Dragster. Looks like you're having a real ball out there today on the track.
Yeah,
How's the car performing for you?
it's performing good. It's better than yesterday.
Were you having some problems yesterday, or what were they?
Yeah, the throttle kept breaking on me.
But otherwise today it looks to be pretty good though, huh? Good luck.
Thanks.
Matt, what are you turning out there?
I'm usually running 13.5s, but I slowed up to a 17.
Track a little rough on you today?
My car is
How is the car running?
okay. The clutch is giving us problems today, but usually it's running really well.
You've been competing a lot so far this year?
We've been to every race, and I'm 5th in points right now.
I take it you really enjoyed the sport, huh?
Yeah, I really love it.
Are you going to graduate to something a little bit bigger later?
Yeah, hopefully like a pro mod or top fueler.
All right, good luck today.
You probably think it would cost way too much for you to ever have a Junior Dragster, right? Well, it takes about $3,000 to buy a Junior Dragster that has already been built for you. Don't you think it would be more fun to build it yourself? Not only do you get to learn a lot, but it could be your very own design, and besides, it costs a lot less money to build your own dragster. Some kids in the Junior Dragster League have built cars for less than $1,000. If you shop around for bargains, especially at places like flea markets or airplane surplus parts stores, you can save a ton of cash. You may even be able to make some parts at home by yourself.
Have you learned a lot about racing from your dad, though? I bet you have.
Yeah, he taught me pretty much about it. Taught me a lot about engines and stuff, and basically about how to win, because when you run a slower car, you dial slower than what you actually run, and when you get to the other end, you can back out of it. And usually they run out or you just barely win.
This is a junior drag racer that has the terminology down pat. Are you going to stick with it as you get older, become 16, get your license?
Yeah, I plan to get an older car when I sell this, get a bare frame. And we have a motor and stuff down in our basement that should do fairly well in an older car.
So racing is obviously a family effort with the Miller family. Have you helped to build the car? Do you help tune it? Do you tell your dad what it does? Do we need to tune it this way or that way?
Well, sometimes. He usually lets me take the dial in and stuff. And I usually take pretty good care of the car and do some of the stuff, but we have a crew like Jeff and my brother, Dustin, and my dad usually help me a lot.
The most important thing to remember when buying your own Junior Dragster is to buy from a place with a good reputation. You could even call the Better Business Bureau to find out about the company or ask the company for references. If you show your parents how responsible you are, they will probably even help you.
Okay, are you one who wants to stay involved? You've started young, you've raced other types of cars, you've jumped into drag racing. Do you think that's where you want to stay? Do you want to race as you get older and become an adult?
Yeah,
And which way do you think you want to go, in circles or straight lines?
straight.
Well, we were hoping you would say that. Let's take a look at the car here. It's a beautiful car. How much has been built for you, and how much did you put together?
The car was built by EMC Motor Cars, Kenny Good, and Pro Motorsports at Ephrata with Andy Bolt, who also races here. He built the whole car.
Okay, now tell me, are there any family rules here? Do the grades have to stay up in order to go racing?
Yes, grades have to be up. If the grades aren't up, the car stays parked till the grades come back up. That's a rule. It's been that way and it's staying that way.
Well, now during the school time, do the grades have to stay up for you to go racing?
Yeah, I contain a pretty good high grade average. I usually get A's and B's. Last quarter I missed a lot because I had chicken pox, but I still got all A's and 1 C.
You do all the engine work for them, or you guys work together, I imagine?
Right, yeah, we build the cars and we build the engines together.
Let me ask you this, too. Even in terms of a father and son thing, I imagine that's pretty conducive to a relationship. You're there, you're working on the car together, and it kind of really helps out, huh?
It's great. I have both my boys out in the shop, and they both help. They both run cars, and we're out there all the time.
Good grades in school, too, I imagine.
If the grades aren't there, the racing isn't there.
Of course, most junior dragsters have sponsors that help pay for their cars. There are many places that would love to help kids race. Even the Drug Awareness Resistance Education Program, better known as DARE, and the National Child Safety Council have gotten involved in junior drag racing. So if you are dedicated to getting your very own junior dragster, there are a lot of ways to do it. Like any sport you get involved in, drag racing has rules. These rules are not only for junior dragsters, they're for anyone who races a car because the most important thing in racing is safety. When crashes do happen, the person driving is usually so well protected that they walk away without a scratch. Drag racing can be dangerous, but if you do it right, there's almost no way you'll hurt yourself. The sport of safe drag racing started in 1951 when the NHRA, the National Hot Rod Association, remember, wanted to get rid of drag racing's bad reputation and make it enjoyable without people always getting hurt. They told racers that they had to wear helmets and have roll bars on their cars. In 1954, a group called the Safety Safari, who was with the NHRA, went around the United States to set up safe tracks, help with timing equipment, and even speak with schools about the safety of drag racing. Today, the driver's safety is just as important to the NHRA. Each car has to pass an inspection of the technical department because it must be built to meet certain specifications. And just like in your parents' car, dragsters must always buckle up. Drivers also have to wear neck collars and arm restraints while in their car. Speaking of the car, it must always keep up its appearance, and so must the pit crew. That's where the awards for best appearances come in.
Now let me ask you this. Do you work on the car? Have you helped to build it? And who came up with this unique front engine design?
Well, I do work on it sometimes with the little stuff, but my dad really basically came up with the idea.
Well, it sure seems to work. Have you made a lot of friends since you started getting involved with junior dragsters?
Yeah, I made a lot of them.
It seems that way. Just like the older racers, it seems like all the junior dragster drivers seem to stick together and really help each other out when they have different problems. Have you found that to be the case?
Yes, we've really tried to keep it friendly with us all.
You have one of the really high-tech cars here. We look at the back of the car, we see a dual-element wing. We see a lot of high-tech stuff for this 5-horsepower Briggs & Stratton motor. Is this a car that your father built, or was the car bought? Did you help build it?
We were working on the engine, but we bought the car from Vinny and App, and he painted it. But we had the wing made by Carpenter and chassis and components, and some of the stickers on the back. So that's where we got the wing from, and the details were from Mark's lettering, and that's it for the painting.
You mentioned Vinny Knapp. Actually, it was Vinny Knapp just a few years ago that approached NHRA about the Junior Dragster League. So you got your car from one of the actual founders of the Junior Dragsters. That has to be pretty exciting.
Yep, it is.
How's the car performing for you?
Pretty good. I just won the first round here, and it's been running pretty good all day.
Well, it looked like you made a pretty impressive pass out there. Is the car performing for you any different today than it was yesterday?
It's running a little bit slower than it was yesterday, but it's more consistent.
How do you like the track here at Maple Grove?
I like it. It's the best track I've run on.
A lot of competition for you so far this year?
Yeah, it's been pretty hard.
Well, it looks like you're doing a lot out there. Keep up the good work.
Thanks.
How you running out there?
Well, I kind of ran out. We had the belt on backwards on the converter, and I figured that it wouldn't go that much quicker, but it was going a lot quicker. And I dialed a 1242, I'm on a 33.
I imagine you're going to have a real talking with the crew later on.
Well, not really, because it was kind of my fault, too, because I was...
Oh, okay, well, it's easy to take the blame. How you been running pretty much through the year? Good?
Yeah, fairly good. We got to the semifinals in New Jersey last Saturday, and I was pretty proud of that.
Maple Grove a good track for you?
Yeah, it's my home track. I come here pretty often. I like it.
Good luck.
Thanks a lot.
How you doing? How you running out there?
I went too fast.
Yeah? Are you enjoying yourself out here today?
Yeah.
You guys got a lot of time into the car and a lot of parts and things like that. You've been running a lot of competition this year so far.
Yeah, ever since Maple Grove opened so far, we've been here.
You going to graduate into a bigger car?
Yep.
What are you looking at? What kind of car?
Top fueler.
All right, good luck.
There are 3 classes of racing in junior dragsters: minor, major, and open. These are basically based on age and how you come off the starting line. If you are 8 or 9, you must make your run in 12.9 seconds or more, which is pretty quick if you think about it. If you are over 10, you have a few choices how to run your race. You can go by the estimated time, or ET, dial your own basis, which means you decide how long it will take you to make it to the finish line and write it on your window. When you go up against another car, a computer figures out who gets the head start, so both cars have an equal chance of finishing first. Or if you are 10 and over, you can choose the Pro Start, in which the Christmas tree lights up the same for both cars, so you start at the same time.
Wait a minute. Did you say Christmas tree?
Oh, right. You're probably thinking of the thing you put presents under, right? Wrong. See those lights that start at yellow on the top and then go down to green? In the sport of drag racing, that group of lights is called the Christmas tree, and it is a very, very important part of the track. We'll show you an actual race and then explain it so you know what's going on. Okay, that's what an actual race looks like. Now we'll tell you everything involved in getting to the finish line. See that green light? Like the green light at any intersection your parents drive through, it means go. But here at the racetrack, it means go as fast as you can. The time it takes from when the light turns green to when you cross the starting line is called your reaction time. Some people can do it in half a second. This is a very important part of the race because it is something that most people can keep improving on. Even the pros are always concerned about their reaction time. Now there's a red light on the bottom of the Christmas tree. Does that mean stop? Well, not exactly, but it does mean that the car went before it was supposed to and will be disqualified. So you see that even though you need to go fast, you can't be too anxious. Now this is the finish line, and you can imagine the excitement these drivers must feel, especially with so many people cheering them on. The finish line is 1/8 of a mile down the track. This is what is called the timing tower and tells the driver how fast they were going, what their reaction time is, and how long it took them to run the race. This information is all figured out by computers. Junior dragsters not only have to be interested in driving. At some tracks, kids even announce the races while they're going on. So if you'd rather talk than drive, you can still be involved in drag racing.
Well, it looks like we're in the Top Fuel pits, but we're not. It's Junior Dragster Row here at the races, and what a unique and different entry for young Carl Grosso. And looking at your car right off the bat, I see you went right to the top. Your front motor Junior Dragster, autographed by Big Daddy Don Garlitz. How did this unique idea come about, Carl?
Well, we went up to Elmore Chevrolet when he was up there, and I just asked him if he could sign it, and he did.
And the gentleman that he is, and certainly he started as a young man himself, he was certainly ready to accommodate you. Is Big Daddy here, and would you like to go to Top Fuel?
Oh, yes, I would.
Are you going to stay in the automotive field as you grow up and you go through school? And does your family have any rules, like do you have to have good grades to go racing?
We'll have to keep my grades up, and the guy that makes our car, Mark Gold's, Falcon chassis, he made this car, and we're gonna build a bigger dragster when I turn 14. We're gonna start a big one.
So you do have future plans. Do you think you'll stay in the automotive world, maybe as you grow up, get through high school, maybe go to tech school or an automotive institute?
Yeah.
Okay, there's a lot of opportunities out there. Machine shop work, car design. Who knows, maybe someday you'll work for one of the big corporate centers. Are you looking towards that as a goal in the future?
Yeah. I want to be like a Top Fuel driver, but have to get a good job.
Yeah, you sure do. Okay, do you have any idea what you want to do as you get older? Will you stay involved with racing cars or maybe just working on cars for a living?
I want to stay in racing. I just want to either try doing circle track cars or stay with drag racing.
What do you think you've learned so far about going to the races and the things that it takes, the qualities to go racing? Is it hard? Have you had a rough time? Has it been easy? Have you made a lot of friends?
I made a lot of friends, and it's pretty easy. The tree was the most part that I had to learn.
Drew Miller, welcome to Maple Grove. How's it going out there?
Well, it's going all right, except for my lights are fairly bad. We went to English Town last Saturday, and I had a good string of lights. They were like from 540 down to 516. And I got to the semifinals, and I had a fairly good light, but I lost because I backed out of the throttle too soon. And that's about how it's going so far. I've yet to win.
Even though a lot of junior dragsters race for fun and experience, they're smart enough to know that they can win money too.
Money? They have all this fun and do all these fun things and they get money for it?
That's right. Remember all those other awards I was saying dragsters could win? Well, in junior drag racing, if you win a race or win in another category, you have a chance at winning scholarship money. You know how handy that could come in. Why, just a few months ago at the Junior Drag Racing Championships in Indianapolis, Indiana, over $300,000 in scholarship funds was given away. So, Junior Dragsters is not only fun, exciting, and competitive, it's a good time for your family, you can win money, and you can tell all your friends that you race cars for a hobby. Who wouldn't be impressed by that?
All right, now how do I become a member?
If you would like to be a junior dragster, you can write to the NHRA at P.O. Box 5555, Department 1910, Glendora, California, 91740-0950. Or you can call area code 818-914-4761. Be sure to talk to your parents about it first. I hope that you will keep up your interest in racing. It's a great sport for everybody, boys and girls, and going to the track for the day is guaranteed to be a blast. Just remember one thing, your earplugs.